Hello, genealogist. This is Craig, and this is just genealogy. I've been asked, how is it I know so much about photographs of military people and how I'm able to tell army people what they are and who they are and that kind of thing? And how do I understand the insignia? Well, some of it's pretty basic, especially the World War I stuff. It's pretty clear. And I've talked about it before when I've talked about World War I. But I thought I'd share with you two of the resources that I use often to determine what I need to know. You have to understand that there is the concept of insignia and uniforms and the concept of flashes and patches. These are two different things. Before World War One, flashes and patches were not a thing. They come about because of our involvement in World War One and our exposure to Europeans who were into flashes and patches at about that time, and we weren't, to the extent that when servicemen returned from overseas wearing these, especially division patches, some general decided that that isn't what we're going to do in the continental United States, take them off. Members of the National Guard, at least in North Carolina, I am positive, ignored order, and within 6 months it was rescinded. Flashes and patches became part of the United States Army genre. So I used the Encyclopedia of the United States Army Insignia and Uniforms by William Emerson for looking at all kinds of different things. And I'll share with you the table of contents really quickly. It's detailed, but I can go over it. We're always going to be looking for infantry, cavalry, artillery, those kinds of insignia. But there are others. There is medical departments, supply corps, JAG corps, those kinds of insignia. And musicians, for example, Adjutant General, Ordnance Corps, Judge Advocate General, which I mentioned, Commissary of Subsistence, chaplains, inspector generals, pay and finance, goes on and on. And it also deals with insignia with histories from the Civil War to 1910. And it also deals with the branch insignia developed between 1910 and 1945. It deals with World War II insignia. It deals with coats. It deals with uniforms. It deals with headgear, and then the white and dress uniforms, and then women's uniforms. And then it even has an appendix on insignia fasteners. This is also a good place. This is actually where I get most of the information I know about the Army Transport Service, because each one of these things is set up with an introduction. So here we're dealing with the letters U.S. and state insignia. So there's more to it than just pictures. So I'm not saying you should own a copy of this book. I do, because this is what I do. But I'm saying you should know where you can find a copy of Encyclopedia of the United States Army Insignia and Uniforms. And if your local library doesn't have one, my advice is that you say, why don't you have this book? Or you could set it up so that they actually get it. Now, Heritage Books doesn't sell that book. I guess, unfortunately, I should say. Then we're going to talk about patches, flashes, and ovals. And that's what this book is about. It's by Barry Stein. U.S. Army Patches, Flashes, and Ovals. These are things that are cloth. The Army insignia in the other book are pretty much some sort of metal. And in some cases now today they're plastic. But it is... One of the nice things about this book is there are many color plates. And what you see in patches and ovals and those kind of things is variation. And by that variation, I mean that, for example, here's the 1st Cavalry Division up at the top here. And you can see that there are a variety of different kinds of patches associated with the 1st Cavalry Division. It's just, it goes on and on. For example, this is the 75th Infantry and all the choices that exist in the 75th Infantry. So we've got a lot of color, lots and lots of color. And the secret is knowing what the generic patch is for a unit, identifying that unit, and then going and looking for the possibilities within that unit. It's just, I love this book. I use it whenever I see a patch that I don't recognize. So I thought I would share with you today, per somebody's request, how it is I figure out what patches actually mean, what Insignia actually means. And these 2 books, the one by Emerson and the one by Stein, are the books that help me the most. If you've got a patch that you don't understand what it is, and you want to send me a copy of it, email me a copy of it, I'll go ahead and look at it and see if I can figure out what it is and get back to you on it. And of course, I'll create a video about that patch, I guess. I don't know. Depends on what I have to say. So this is Craig. This is Just Genealogy. Another day has gone by. See you tomorrow. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends. Watch as much of this as you can. All that kind of stuff. You know, how many times do I have to say it? Thank you all so very much.